Hello, everybody, and welcome inside another edition of the Wrap Up, the 110th chapter that this Wrap Up book has had in these days. Dan Myers, Nick Buckler, the gentleman behind the glass, the AAA team, plus friends. We're just adding on every week.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? The Lions played Monday night. Michigan played. Michigan State had the week off. We have our picks. The Tigers are still a train wreck. The Red Wings start preseason this week. Let's dive into breaking down. No, we'll save football for last.
Sounds good.
I think we're going to do that. Let's talk about the Tigers. Don't. Do not tune away, folks. This is good. Ausmus, does he return? Okay, first and foremost, they're 62-88. They're a train wreck. They're a disaster.
Yeah.
Awful. Matt Boyd, Sunday, goes 8 2/3 of no-hit ball. One walk. Are you happy you didn't do it? What was going through your mind? I don't know if you watched the game, listened to the game, heard about it after, but of all people, would you expect Matt Boyd? And when it came down to the nitty-gritty, did you ever believe it truly was going to happen?
Honestly, right now it's like spending $100 at a fair trying to win a $2 toy. It's it's nice, it's fun for the moment, but when you get home and you look at the overall grand scheme of things, you're like, man, we just spent all this time for this little thing. So yes, it would have been nice, a nice little blip on the season. But aside from that, what else can you say? It is what it is. What can you do?
Okay, so I've been hearing people argue that they should have put a defensive replacement in right field for Nick Castellanos. Nick Castellanos has only been an outfielder for not even 2 weeks. And if he was at third base, Ausmus always lifts him in, now, mind you, a close game for either Andrew Romine or someone, a defensive replacement, because he's not that good in the field. Your pitcher has a no-hitter. You're now in the 9th inning. You have a guy who's pretty much never played outfield before, and with 2 outs, the ball gets hit his way. Now, there's an argument, does it matter who they put in there? Is that ball just stroked to the gap no matter what? Or is he get kind of close? Maybe if there's someone in there who's competent in the outfield. And Castellanos takes 2 hard steps in first. The ball's over his head into the gap. Now, if you have a guy like Alex Presley or Romine or somebody in there who's played outfield before, maybe their first 2 steps are back and they get a good beat on that ball and maybe make a diving play. Did you see the play? We'll show it here. What do you think? To me, at first I'm like, no way, it's a gap shot for sure. There's no way anyone gets to that. I don't care if you're Ricky Henderson. No one's getting to that ball. But the more I watch it, as it's been airing on TV a lot, people are bringing it to light. I think someone with competence maybe makes a play on that baseball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And going back to what I was saying, since the season's so lost, it's about the small victories. And yes, that would have been a small victory and a nice thing to have. But yeah, that's something that you sort of anticipate happening. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just another exclamation mark on Ausmus just being a clown. It's a freak show. It's a circus. He wants to play Romine every position in one game.
Yeah.
You know what I compare that to? Everyone's like, do it, Shane Halter did it. Okay, congrats. That is bringing a circus to the ballpark. That's like having Jeff Backus come in and play running back and then kick field goals and then be the quarterback and all in one game. Line him up split left. No, it's not. It's baseball. No, it is. It's the same thing. It's a circus act. You're pretty much pulling down your pants to the game is what you're doing.
How do you feel about Candelario?
I think he's a great player. Okay. Has great potential. I'm not going to speak him being a great player. He's played a handful of games in the majors. But he can make plays defensively. He started a triple play last week in Toronto. He's ripping the cowhide off the ball right now. He's playing very well. And to me, I think in that haul back for Verlander, he was in the Cubs. That haul too was pretty good. I like Candelario and was it Paredes, the other who they got in that, who's also
it was Isaac Paredes.
Yeah, he's 18 years old, and I mean they're getting a good haul for these players, or they did get. Now they have. I like Candelario a lot. I think he's going to start next year at third base. Hence why they're moving Castellanos to the outfield. And to be honest, once he kind of gets in his groove, he's just going to be like J.D. Martinez in the outfield, because J.D., let's face it, was not a good outfielder. And you're seeing that in the National League. and he's, mind you, doing great out there, but they got a good return on these players. Franklin Perez, 19 years old, you got him in the Verlander trade. You're now your number one prospect in your organization. You get a catcher who's now your number 6 in Jake Rogers from the Astros, and you get Candelario, who's number 3. You get Paredes, who's number 9, and to mix with the Matt Manning and an Alex Faedo, Bo Burrows, and I mean, look at, not to mention Christian Stewart's been playing well. Although Erie didn't make the playoffs, he had a great year, made some big steps. The future's bright. It's just a very distant future.
Which piece did you like the most? I like the pitcher from Houston.
I like Franklin Perez. I agree with you. What gets me is he's already that highly touted, and he's 19 years old. Mind you, remember how good, what was that, Jacob Turner was supposed to be? Cameron Maybin was supposed to be the second coming. So, I mean, let's not put all of our eggs in one basket here, but I'm excited just to see the progress of him. The fact that he can now finally get to Canada from his age, he's 19 years old. I mean, let's face it, this guy, the sky's the limit. Let's face it.
Yeah, it's a definite gamble, and it's always scary when you invest in something like that, especially when you lose someone like JV, whether or not you liked him, whether or not you agreed with the way he went out and left the team. It's always a scary thing, and investments aren't always a sure thing, but right now it looks like we may have some return, not a complete return with them, but somewhat of a return, and that's all you can bank on is hope right now.
What do you think about the return on Justin Upton? You get a player to be named later and Grant Long. To me, I think you could have gotten so much more. I don't know, Austin, if you want to weigh in on this as well, but Grant Long to me he's a double-A prospect. I mean, there's not much value there for a player who is just dynamic. Maybe the contract had something to do with it, but I mean, look at the Verlander contract. I think the value is much higher on a player like Verlander, or, I mean, you had to eat more money that way if you're the opposing team. So to only get Grant Long, it makes me scratch my head.
Yeah, that's true. And I felt like there was more backlash with that trade as opposed to the Verlander trade. Not too many people were happy about that and what they received, and I have to agree with them. I thought we could have gotten a lot more, but we had to push some players around, and ultimately that's what we got with them.
And what kind
it
of?
was a great trade for Verlander. Only $16 million. The players that you got, really no complaints.
Well, about the Upton trade, you get Grant Long, and that's about it. Do you think you could have gotten more for a guy like Justin Upton, who was really at the peak? The trade market was huge for him, and that's all they got. To me, it makes me scratch my head.
It's the contract.
And he said he may opt out. I'm sorry, he never said it, but Avila said, I had a hunch. Yeah, how have your hunches worked so far, Al? And one that kind of goes under the radar now, because it was the first move, was the J.D. Martinez haul you got back for him. 3 shortstops, Lugo, King, and Alcantara, I believe was the other one.
Yeah, Alcantara.
Lugo, they say, might pan out. King has some value. Alcantara was a throw-in. If one of those guys hits, I'd say it's a great trade. But, you can't judge these trades right now. You got to wait a year or two to see, okay, like, mind you, look at the Cespedes trade. You got Michael Fulmer and Luis Kessa, I believe, in that deal. Look at the David Price trade. You got Daniel Norris and Matt Boyd. So Matt Boyd now, Daniel Norris was the guy they got in that deal. The guy. Now, of the 3 pitchers, he's now the worst. Fulmer was up there with Norris, but Norris was the guy. He lives in a van down by the river, shaves with an axe. This guy lives off 6% of his income and stashes the rest. I mean, what's not to love?
Right.
And in his first game, he dominates at Wrigley, hits a home run in his first major league at bat. He's a pitcher. They're like, Nolan Ryan, here we are. What's happening? And then Michael Fulmer goes out and only wins Rookie of the Year his first year, posts an ERA sub-3. And now Matt Boyd goes 8 2/3 no-hit ball. Daniel Norris on the outside looking in. The future is right? But I don't know how long we're going to have to wait. It's at least 5 years, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's some overcast with some potential sun in the forecast, but we'll see. Baseball's the type of sport. It's either immediate or you're waiting for a while to see where these guys pan out, and that's very generic, I guess you could say. But it's the investment's scary, and we're investing in some guys who have some big shoes to fill. Hopefully it pans out for them.
Real quick before we get to our picks and some football talk, I want to mix in a little Red Wings. Preseason starts this week. The Red Wings offered Andreas Athanasiou a contract. He is yet to be signed. There's been rumors he's going to Russia. They've offered him more money over there, but nothing's happened in 3 weeks now since those rumors have started. They offer him this weekend 2 years, $3.8 million. Does he sign, does he not? And what do you think for the Wings this year?
I really hope he signs. I think that'd be a horrible loss for the Wings to lose him. He just, you and I have talked to it till we're blue in the face. He's unappreciated, just the way his ice time has been with what he produces on the ice. I would hate to lose him, especially to Russia like that. I really do hope he takes it. I can't blame him if he doesn't. But just as a fanboy, as a fan of the Wings, I really hope he stays. You introduced me to him. I've just been excited with him ever since. It would be a horrible thing to lose him, especially with the talent surge and the youth movement that's going on throughout the league, that has been going on throughout the league. I'd really like to see him stay. I think he's got a lot of potential here, and I'd hate to lose him to either Russia or just another team down the road.
We'll talk hockey more later. Not today, but later. Because let's face it, it's football season, gang. Let's do our picks right now. All right? Let's get to the picks first. And then I want to talk a little Lions. They were in the moonlight last night. Monday night football at MetLife Stadium. Eli Manning, Ben McAdoo, arguably the worst coach in sports. Beside the point. Michigan played. They did not cover the spread against Air Force. Frankly, it was Quentin Nordine, their kicker, against Air Force. Peoples-Jones looked good on a nice 78-yard punt return. Detroit cast tech, some Eisenhower faithful may remember him on what he did in that semifinal game. Did he get his foot in? Did he not? Either way, great catch. Now he's in Michigan, and that's that. They get the win. They're number 8 in the country. They drop one spot. First, I'm jumping the gun. We got to go to last week. Here is your updated standing sheet. As you can see, Andrew leads the way with another strong week. He's 13-7. You have our leader, Arthur Schink, up there. He's just a couple games behind at 11-9. Myself and the man behind the glass, Austin C. Lass, are hanging tight at 9-11. And then there's Dan. And who's that? Who are you with in that photo? That's Vanderchump.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's a nice picture. You're 8-12. Anyways, time to right the ship, and you can't change your picture. Sorry about it. Moving on to this week's picks. Number 8, Michigan, on the road for their first road test. Well, kind of. They played a neutral site game against Florida, but it's a Big Ten game. Purdue looked real strong, destroying Missouri at Missouri. This is a good young football team, and Michigan may have trouble. They are favored by 10 on the road. And I'm hanging on to them just finally showing up, finally being good. But with Wilton Spade, it's so hard because he's terrible. Their offense really can't get much going. And they lost Tariq Black to pretty much the year with a crack in his foot, as Harbaugh said. A crack, not broken. It's a crack in his foot. But I'm taking Michigan -10. That's a stretch for me. That was the last game I picked because it was so tough. Most of you are going to say it's not. You're taking Purdue no matter what. And that's what I wanted to do, but something in my gut tells me the Maize and Blue is going to roll on the road.
Well, I hope you're right, but I got to roll the dice. I'm going to go with Purdue. Just, high risk, high reward. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I do hope you're right.
Austin C.?
Yeah, I'm going to pick against Michigan for the 3rd time this season.
Yeah, you have, and it's worked out for you the last 2 weeks. They did not cover against Cincy. They did not cover against Air Force. They may not cover on the road against Purdue. Notre Dame comes to East Lansing. Formerly ranked Notre Dame, no longer in the top 25, but they're favored by 4.5 against Sparty. I got the Irish winning in East Lansing and covering the spread.
I'm taking Rudy was offsides, Notre Dame also. So, Austin, what about you?
I'm going to take the Spartans. I don't think that they will win. But I do think they will cover. Notre Dame is quite overrated, and State's actually had a decent year so far. So,
a Big Ten showdown in Iowa City. Number 4, Penn State comes a-calling, but they are favored by 12.5, and they've looked real good. Iowa's also unbeaten, so that's why this game's on the slate. 2 unbeatens going at it. This could be a huge statement game for the Hawkeyes, who they've struggled at times this year, but when it's all said and done, they've gotten her done. I'm taking Penn State to roll easy, though, into Iowa City and come out maybe in the top 3.
You're probably right. I'm going against the grain. I'm going to go with Iowa.
Iowa, the Hawks. What about you there, buddy?
Nittany Lions roll.
That's right, easy. Easy, in honor of Joe Pa, the fallen leader. Okay, too soon. Number 16, Horned Frogs go into wherever Oklahoma City plays, the Cowboys. Not America's team, though, just the Mullets. Their coach has a pretty sweet flow going. And number 9, Oklahoma State's favored by 12, and I got them to roll easy against Texas Christian U.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy pick. I'm going with Oklahoma State, too.
Go Pokes. Mason Rudolph could be a Heisman candidate.
All right, look out there. Number 17, Mississippi State, after an absolute beatdown of the formerly Les Miles-led LSU Tigers. Well, they go now in another SEC showdown against the formerly led Matt Stafford Georgia Bulldogs. No Sean Moreno-led Georgia Bulldogs, number 11 in the country. Favored by 6.5, and I'm taking Mississippi State to maybe win that game outright, but definitely keep it closer than 6.5 points.
That's solid. I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs. They're gonna bite. They're gonna bite hard, and hopefully give me some more points. Come on, I gotta catch up.
Is it at Georgia?
It is indeed.
Go Bulldogs.
Oh, I'm the only one. I got a Mississippi State jersey. I don't know how I got it, but I got it. I'm wearing it Saturday. Go whatever Mississippi State is.
Bulldog.
Oh, Bulldog versus Bulldog action. So which
Oh.
Bulldog are you taking?
Is the Michael Vick Bowl?
Georgia.
Okay, that's what I figured. Speaking of Michael Vick, NFL Falcons come to Ford Field. Falcons, former NFC champion, they're 2-0. The Lions are 2-0. This is going to be a test for the Lions to see really how good they are. Falcons favored by 3 at Ford Field, and for the first time this year, I'm picking against the Lions. I'm picking the Falcons.
You know what? I'm changing mine right now. I'm going with the Falcons also. I went with the Giants last week. The Lions won. I hope the Lions win again.
All right.
Dirty Birds.
Dirty Birds,
All
you
right.
picked them, and it worked for you last week. Seahawks at Titans. Titans favored by 3. This could be a snooze fest. Neither team's really shown eliteness, as they're both expected to have pretty good years. The offense, led by Russell Wilson in Seattle, has been pretty crappy. Seahawks, though, +3 on the road, and I'm taking them.
I'm taking the Seahawks also. That's an easy pick.
Give me the Titans.
Ooh.
Mariota. And then arguably the worst 2 teams ever assembled. I had to throw this one on the docket just for S&Gs. The Browns go to Indy and are favored. The Browns are favored. Hold the phone, people. It's nuts. Deshaun Kaiser dealing with migraines. He will play. They're favored. Jacoby Brissett, Scott Tolzien. I'm taking the Colts. +1.5 at home.
I'm taking the Colts also.
Give me the Browns.
Oh, the old Brownies. The 0-2 Saints travel to the 2-0 Cam Newton-led Carolina Panthers. Panthers -6 in this one. And I think the Saints finally get off the schneid here and get one done on the road. Panthers have not shown me much this year. They're pretty boring to watch, but that defense is good. But I'm still taking Drew Brees to tear them apart and win big in this one.
Yeah, redemption game for the Saints. And give them some hope for the season. But, yeah, going with the Saints.
Where's the game and what was the line again?
Panthers -6.
Give me the Panthers.
All right, Cowboys. Monday Night Football -3 on the road at Arizona. Arizona, well, we heard at the beginning, my NFC Super Bowl pick. They struggled against Indy last week. They went to overtime. Obviously, they lose David Johnson. Carson Palmer showing his age. They're at home, but they're dogs by 3 points. I'm taking the Cowboys to cover the spread on the road pretty handily.
The Cowboys are hungry. I'm going with the Cowboys also.
I told you after you made the pick that the Cardinals weren't going to the playoffs, so it's going to be the boys.
It is we them boys. Those are our picks. They're not yours, but it's time to talk Lions football.
Yes.
But first, before we talk Lions football, did you see Jay Cutler's Hail Mary attempt?
No, I didn't.
Take a look. This might be the worst throw I've ever seen. It almost hits the cheerleaders. It's 20 yards out of bounds. It's 4th down. What do you have to lose? Yeah. Why not throw the ball? An interception might work better. I mean, needless to say, his head might have been where that ball peaked in the clouds. But that was just one of the worst attempts I've ever seen. And that I want to go to Kansas City now. Did you see the cheerleader get hit by the camera guy?
I was just going to say, it's been a rough week for the pom-poms.
What is this guy looking at? The cheerleader turns, gets smoked right in the teeth.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't get it. What is he doing? Where's he looking? But she gets up and takes it like a champ. And she might have won that battle. I'm sure his shot was a little out of focus. Right. Might have had it on auto iris. I'm not sure, but it was rough. And he's in full sprint too, mind you.
Yeah, he was going for one of those old school XFL shots.
I really don't get that at all.
But he was looking through the monitor. And
So what did he see? Like, what was he watching playback? I'm not sure. That's brutal. I don't know. It's brutal. You know, it's not brutal. The Detroit Lions. I know I picked against him. That's just for fun. This is for real. Matthew Stafford, highest paid player, playing like it. Leads the NFL in touchdowns. 6 of them through 2 games. They go into MetLife Stadium, formerly known as the Meadowlands, on Monday night and beat a team that they were talking about going to the Super Bowl before the year started. And then 2 games happened. Now the Giants could be one of the worst teams ever. They go in and dominate that game. On offense, on defense, on special teams. A running game finally showed up.
Yeah, that was an incredible game to watch. Just an overall success with that.
Dominance.
Yes.
Jamal Agnew, 88 yards.
Yeah.
Sorry, Swami, I had to do it. 6th round pick from San Diego. Look at him go. Look at him fly.
He was
to the
a
hizzy.
firecracker.
What about the play of Jared Davis?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to talk about Jared Davis, too. A scary moment happened late in that game. He gets hit from behind by Odell Beckham Jr. Cheap shot, not called, should have been a block in the back, leading his head to go into the knee of one of the linemen on the Giants. And he leaves holding his head. To me, right away, I thought concussion, it's going to linger. It's going to be trouble. They obviously haven't released. We'll have to check the report, as Jim Caldwell would say, to see if I'm guessing he misses at least 2 to 4 weeks. And hopefully it's not another DeAndre Levy in the making.
Yeah, he walked off the field. He seemed like he knew where he was at. He, was smiling. Granted, they were up by that point, I believe.
Or was he wincing?
That's true. He was. I did see him. I don't know if you caught this. He did take his gloves off and pass to the Lions fans that were in New York. That was pretty cool. And it stinks that you lost someone like that. 6 tackles, including 1 sack. He's having a terrific game, and then to go out like that is just so frustrating, and that's too bad.
Let's break it down. Falcons this week, they're blowing them out. They're going to win. Matt Ryan, he'll probably get injured in the first half. Ziggy Ansah smacks him down, just like the BYU days. They're going to beat whoever they play after that. Carolina comes to town. Cam Newton, you ain't got nothing. Lions going to win. Lions going to be 5-0. They're going to go 10-0. Then they're going to be playing on Thanksgiving. Who do they play? Is it the Vikings again? Doesn't matter. They're going to win. This team's going 16-0, folks. Amir Abdullah. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher since 2013. Reggie Bush. Reginald, off the phone. They took your Heisman from you. They're going to take your 100-yard rushing season away from you and give it to Amir. You know what? We're going to have 3 100-yard rushers. We're going to have Dwayne Washington, Theo Riddick, and Amir Abdullah all in the same game. That's 350 yards of running because Staph Infection's going to pick up 50 of his own, 400 through the air, all in one game. They're going to be the first team to ever get 1,000 yards of offense. This team's for real. Give the extension right now to Jimmy C. He knows what he's talking about. This team is going all the way. You might have heard my rant last year. This might seem just as crazy, but let me tell you something. This team knows something. You know what they know? They know how to win. And they don't look clueless anymore. You know what looks clueless? Ben McAdoo and Eli Manning.
And Greg Robinson.
Oh, Greg Robinson is the best left tackle ever. Just kidding. He's the second worst. The only one worse is
Eric
Flowers
Flowers.
from the Giants. Man, Ziggy ate him alive. Ziggy, though, is eating everyone alive this year. He's going to have 49 sacks. Going to be the real deal. Von Miller, step aside. What's his name? Ziggy's here. I'm just losing it now mentally and emotionally. This team's great. This team's the best. You pencil him into a Super Bowl? I don't know. I might.
We'll see this weekend.
Stafford, MVP. I don't know. You know what? I get everyone out here. Everyone.
Yeah, come on.
Austin,
Come on.
everyone behind the glass. Kyle, get back here. Everyone. We want everyone
What are you
in here
drinking?
because you know what? I brewed up some Kool-Aid before the show. We're going to drink the Kool-Aid live on the air for everyone, for all to enjoy, all to hear. Why don't we pour it out? It's blue. It's Honolulu blue, folks. This is it. Have some. Pass it around. Tell your friends. Anyone at home. We made enough. I made a gallon when I was only supposed to make 2 quarts. There's enough sugar in here to give you diabetes. Anyone order up some diabetes? No, I just ordered a Lions Super Bowl. That's all. Dan, get in on this. I know you already had
All
some
right.
behind the scenes and You went into cardiac arrest, but that's
Yeah.
all right. Here you go. I picked all these fine items up from the local grocery store today.
Shop locally.
Yep, shop local.
Cheers,
Get
boys.
local. This is to the Lions
It's a 3-0.
Super Bowl. Here we
I
go.
hope we're smiling next week at this time.
This is it. This is the wrap up from all of us to all of you. Forward down the field.